38 and single, and I recently realized I want a child. I'm terrified I've missed my opportunity. Yeah, you have. I bet you were previously married to a guy who wanted a kid, huh? But you wanted to fool around, so you kicked him out, right? I can still picture it. I was 20, sitting on the kitchen countertop with my legs dangling over the cabinets. He was 21, leaning against the stove of the home we'd hoped we'd share. We'd been dating for nearly 2 years and we're at a standstill. I was clinging to my dream of moving 5 hours away to attend the design program at the Art Institute of Seattle. He wanted a simple life with children and home cooked meals in the little resort town of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where we met in sixth grade. And she threw it all away. That day in the kitchen, we decided to stay together and we each gave up something to do that. I would no longer pursue design school and the big shady life I'd always dreamed of, and he'd forego having children and a wife who prioritized homemaking. I made it clear to him I did not see motherhood in my future and that he needed to be okay with that. 2 years later, we married. Now my ex-husband wanted kids and a stay-at-home wife. And after you threw that away, you decided you wanted it too, right? My husband thought I'd change, and I thought I could change for him. Yeah, this is actually a little bit different than the norm, really. Now, women do change. It's just usually after it's too late. But like, was it Jeff Foxworthy? He actually put it quite well. Yeah, men marry women expecting them to stay the same, and then they're shocked when they change. And women marry men expecting them to change and are shocked when they stay the same. That's the norm. But this, I mean, she legitimately thought she could change. Yeah. I mean, once she realized she lost everything and she can't get it back, now she's all like, "Oh yeah, let's try the whole housewife thing and having kids. Now that I'm a dead egger, nah." I told myself it was silly to go after my dreams and I should be content in a pretty mountain town I grew up. If only you listened to yourself. But I grew resentful when he asked where dinner was or complained about his gym clothes haven't been washed. I did little to hide my disdain for our small town life. He was a good and hardworking man, but I didn't. I don't think I made him feel that way. So, how much you want to bet she was a stay-at-home wife? I mean, she's not a mother, obviously, but she was a housewife. So he went out all day earning money to pay bills for her. And when he expected her to do her share of the work at home, she copped an attitude with him. No wonder that relationship didn't work out. We were young, foolish, and sweet, thinking our love would allow us to overcome our differences. We were also very wrong. Yeah, this is also why marrying for love is a relatively new thing. It's usually like either for political purposes or out of necessity. So shortly after I turned 30, we divorced. We were both tired of sacrificing the things that were important to us for each other. And that's when you realized you actually found what was important to him was also important to you, and you were just being a contrarian, right? I didn't think I'd ever want to get married again or have kids. Well, if only someone told you about how that biological clock works. No, I told my friends and family I'd never get married again. I needed independence, a fulfilling career, a space to chart my own course, and I didn't think marriage fit into that vision. I was content to look towards a future without a husband, child, or the trappings of a traditional life. How much longer until she makes an article about how feminism tricked her? And she's the victim here. Now, I was also in no hurry to get into a serious relationship after my divorce. I was terrified of repeating my mistakes. Nevertheless, months later, I stumbled upon into one that lasted 7.5 years. So that means it's over now, right? He was significantly older and wasn't interested in marriage or children, and we were focused on our careers. Oh, so he kept you around as a booty call, and you were happy to oblige. We expected little of each other aside from fidelity. We took trips, drank nice wine, and stayed out late. Without the exceptions or duties of a shared mortgage or a family, we simply enjoyed our time together. When we were apart, we did our own things. Those were great, easy years. And he can still keep doing that, but you can't anymore, huh? It was an incredibly healing relationship, and ironically, I started to become the Waymans my ex-husband had wanted. If only you'd noticed that a decade ago. I enjoyed cooking, cleaning, and caring for someone when it was my choice and when it wasn't asked of me. I'd been so preoccupied with preserving my independence and caring for myself, I hadn't realized how much I could enjoy caring for someone else and allowing them to care for me. These realizations always come after it's too late. Every time, no exception. Yeah, now this is another one of my favorite articles where Wammons is forced to admit, I had it all and I threw it away. I changed my mind about wanting to build a family with someone. And now, good luck finding someone who'd want to build a family with you. I started to think I might want more than an easy, aimless relationship. I realized I might actually want to build a life from the ground up with someone who wanted the same thing. And while I knew it might take more work, it also felt like the type of connection worth pursuing. Once again, if only you felt that way a decade ago. I felt restless. I couldn't ignore what I wanted, that what I wanted had changed. Though we were technically together, we were living our own lives. And that's exactly how he wanted it. Like, this was the perfect deal for the guy. And that was exactly what I wanted and needed after my divorce. But autonomy was no longer my top priority. It felt like that relationship has run its course. He was a wonderful man, and we're still close, but we'd entered our relationship without any intention or a shared vision of our future. That's probably how he wanted it. Like, the reason you're still close is probably because he still sees you as a booty call. Like, whenever you have another failed relationship, you'll come back to him. Now, we broke up shortly before my 37th birthday. Over the following year and a half, I dated around for the first time in my life. I broke hearts, had my own heart broken. I dated in my late 30s, what many people do in their 20s. I didn't know it then, but I was learning what I wanted and needed in a relationship, and also learning that it was too late. Ultimately, I want to build a life with another person, not simply join theirs when it's convenient. You had the chance, you know. You had that opportunity. I began to feel an incredible urgency to find a relationship and stability to see me through the second half of my life. This is what's called the baby rabies. You're down to your last egg. It's like, okay, someone needs to take care of this right now. I don't even care who. To my amazement, I began seriously thinking about marriage and children. I hardly recognized myself. I also began to feel selfish for spending so much time focusing solely on myself. I went from proudly proclaiming I was too self-centered to be bothered with a family to realizing there was more to life than independence and the pleasures of living for oneself. Men can do that just fine, by the way, but women, for some reason, like with very few exceptions, they don't do this for very long. My very existence started to feel shallow and hollow. It's another Sinead O'Connor incident, huh? I worry I'll end up alone, but I'm still hopeful. You're still hopeful at 38, but as the years go by, that hope will fade, man. Now, months after that realization, and at nearly 39, I feel panicked thinking I'll be single, a childless, middle aged woman. Yes, I worry that my youthful looks will fade. They already did. And I won't be able to attract the man I want to spend the rest of my life with. That's already true, because if what a lot of other women in your situation, like if they're anything to go on, your standards are probably so ridiculously high that the type of guy you're looking for can get women way better than you. So that he won't settle for you. Like they might they might let you be a booty call for him every once in a while, but they're not going to treat you seriously. They could get better women than you. If I sound desperate, is because I honestly do feel a little desperate. At least she's honest. At my age, I know that creating a life may not be an option for me. I worry that men who want family aren't looking for women pushing 40. You're damn right. I get it. I'm no longer the ideal candidate for motherhood, and it's a scary truth, but I still hope to find someone who thinks I'm the ideal partner to create our family together. There is likely a guy out there that would be willing to do that, but you're going to have to lower your standards. Because I see so many stories like this where women, like, they say that they're desperate and they just want to start a family, and yet they're still only going after like the top 10% of men. Yeah, I understand the appeal of life without the constraints of marriage or children. For many years, I was quite satisfied living that way. I know people can live happily, purpose driven lives without those things. I just don't believe I'm one of those people anymore. Well, look at it this way. Maybe once menopause kicks in and you don't have that biological clock pushing you anymore, maybe you can readjust your attitude again and learn to enjoy it. I know now that my purpose lies with having a husband and a family. If you realized it a decade ago, that would have happened. I'm meant to care for more than myself. I'm looking for my forever person and hoping he's looking for me too. He's looking for the newer models that haven't made the mistakes you did. Yeah. But man, so many stories like this. Whammons had everything she wanted. She threw it away. And then after it's too late, realized, oh, I shouldn't have thrown that away.